The following has been rated PG-13. Some material may be inappropriate for young children. Parents may wish to consider whether it should be viewed by those under 13.
Welcome to the Star Wars Junk Podcast. Are you ready to talk Star Wars? What about you, Mark, Zach, Jim? That new guy, I can never remember his name. What? Hello, Mark? Zach? Anyone? Is anyone out there?
One is the loneliest number that you'll ever do.
Well, let's talk about the elephant in the room. And that's me. That's right. It's just me on the podcast. But why? Why is it just me? Where's the crew? They all left me. No, I didn't fire them in a fit of rage. They fired me. They have decided to go off on their own, away from the brand Star Wars Junk. They wanted no part of the Star Wars Junk name any longer. So I'm not going to get into all the drama that happened because of this, but I will touch on a few things, because if you're listening to this, you probably didn't hear the drama. Or if you're listening to this, you know the drama, you just don't give a shit. Unless you're one of the 21 people that unfollowed me, you will not be listening to this, so you don't care about explanation. But it all started because of one website. And I'm not going to get in here and sling names about who they are. But I think anyone that follows Star Wars news, breaking news, leak news, will know these people. And they're not very liked in the Star Wars community, I'll say that. I could go on and on about things they've done, things they have admitted themselves, like a staffer emailing other websites fake news, fake leaks, so it makes them look good and them look bad. Yeah, they've admitted that in their own words. I can pop it up on the screen if I choose to, but like I said, let's not get into all that. Well, God, it's been almost a year ago. I made a joke on the Kenner podcast about the Rancor. I asked a question. You know how Kenner gave everybody weird names? Like they had Walrus Man, which is Ponda Boba. They called him Walrus Man, Hammerhead, Prune Face. And I was just throwing it out there. What would you call this guy? And I said Rancor might be called Towel Head. It was a joke because he looks like he has a towel on his head. That's what started all this. One of them got very upset that I would use something so offensive and demanded I be banned. And then all that blew down for a while. And then this other guy from another podcast or website that's linked to this leaked website, he was upset because I used about 5 seconds of a video he had. Okay, maybe a little, let's be honest, a little longer than that. But during the video, I gave him a link credit in the video, in the description. I gave him down there also. It's very common. That's what I always do. He was upset because, as he said, I didn't give him enough credit. That I should have added at the very beginning of the link. Never heard that in my life. Sent him an email. I apologize. Of course, he wrote back and he was very rude. So, that started the whole thing right there. I don't know, it's skyballed since then. And I'll admit, a lot of this is my fault. If you watch some of my videos, I was put some jabs at this other website. Little things in the background. And I was very vocal on my Twitter account that I don't like these people. That they're not liked in the Star Wars community. They're very offended all the time. And they're always out looking to police the Star Wars fan community. In fact, they went after Star Wars Newsnet. So accused them of stealing news from them. Okay, I don't know. I don't know the facts of that. I know the guys at Star Wars Newsnet find it very hard to believe. But maybe they did. And then Rebel Force Radio, another podcast, a very good podcast, offended that they didn't like Rey or called them sexist or something. So they went after them. And I guess they've gone after me. I mean, I'll make my voice clear. I put out there that I don't like them. I put out there shitty shit they've done. But let's get, so we've gone bigger back and forth a lot of times. But what blew up this time? Well, someone, they say it was me. I say it wasn't. They say they tracked the IP address, hacked into iTunes or some shit like that. So anyway, someone left on their podcast and his friend's podcast a bad review. That sent them into a blaze of glory. They couldn't understand how someone could give them a bad review. And then they saw this bad reviewer also gave my podcast, my Kenner one, and the original Star Wars Junk podcast with good reviews. So they thought, well, it's got to be Star Wars Junk. No one else can like his stuff and hate ours because ours is great. Come on, we bash Donald Trump all day. Everybody loves us. Look, just because I don't like your wife, that doesn't make me a sexist. You can not like a female, doesn't mean you hit them all. Again, I'll admit I've done some childish stuff. Like I said, I made fun of them in videos. I put little Easter eggs in videos of me making fun of them. I was very vocal on my Twitter about how I didn't like them. I didn't like the stuff they've done in the past, stuff they currently do. I don't like how they go after everybody. I don't like how they act like they're the Star Wars police and they got to patrol. They got to watch out everybody. Ooh, they got to listen to the Rebel radio. Make sure they don't say anything offensive. They're going to watch Star Wars Newsnet. Make sure they don't post anything that's similar to our news. Or we're going to watch Star Wars Junk and make sure he doesn't make a towel head joke about the Rancor Keeper. You know, they think that they're the guardians of Star Wars. So, with that said, Zach, Mark, Jim, and the guys, they're all good friends. I understand they don't want to be a part of Star Wars Junk. I was, honestly, when we started Star Wars Junk, the podcast, I was looking for a podcast. I didn't want to do it myself. Zach wanted to do a podcast. So we just kind of mutually agreed, hey, you do the podcast, put Star Wars Junk's name on it. I'll tweet it, I'll promote it, but you pay for the server, you do all the work. It's your podcast with just my name on it. In fact, I should have, looking back now, we should have called it Star Wars Junk Presents and then gave it a name, which would probably been better. And it might feel a little less awkward right now. But anyway, I guess the guys talked, or I don't want to get into all that detail, but they thought it was just better to part ways. Now, I'm going to be completely honest. Zach, if you're listening, I'm going to be honest here. I like you a lot. I thought we had some great times. I think you're crazy for liking the Clone Wars over the Force Awakens, and I wish we could debate that, but maybe I can have you on as a guest. Hopefully no bridges will be burned, or I'm not about to burn a bridge. What the fuck was that? God, I think I broke the seat. And Zach, this isn't an attack on you if you're listening to this, because I think you're a great guy. But in my day, maybe things have changed now. When you've got a friend, even online, which I thought we were friends, you back up that guy. From what I understand, it was a mutual decision, kind of, that they separate their name. I have no hard feelings to Zach, Jim, and I have no hard feelings for any of the guys. I don't want it to sound like that. And I'll agree with Zach. It's probably best this way. And this is with Zach. I'm not trying to attack you or anything, but here goes. You had Star Wars Junk, and I wanted a podcast. And from day one, we didn't see eye on how to promote that podcast. I know at the very beginning, we went around and around about what image to use on the Twitter account. I wanted desperately to put the podcast on YouTube, and you were against it. Take, for example, my Kenner podcast. It gets each episode is getting about 200 downloads. The YouTube version, at least episode 1, reached 800 people. So to me, that was a brilliant sign. Hey, look, I'm doubling or tripling, more like it, the views I get on YouTube. So why not bring Star Wars Junk to the podcast? I mean, why not bring Star Wars to YouTube also? But he didn't see it that way. Now, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying he's right. I'm not saying I'm wrong or he's wrong. We just couldn't agree on how to promote Star Wars Junk. And there was times where I wanted to rant about Star Wars. And I didn't want to do it under the Star Wars Junk name if Zach and Mark and the other guys wasn't here. So it kind of felt odd. So I kind of wanted my own voice. So in a way, I think maybe them moving on, doing their own thing, is a good sign. It would leave me a chance to come on and rant, throw out my views about Star Wars, do a Star Wars Junk podcast, make it my own, hopefully get some guests on here or what else. But like I said, at first when the decision was made, I'm not gonna lie to you, I felt hurt. I felt betrayed, maybe. I felt hated. Now I felt a lot of different things, but In fact, that passed really fast. I know one of my good friends who runs a Boba Fett website. We were talking, and he's been a really big supporter through all this. Because has had my back from day one since we met on Twitter. Really great guy. Star Wars, it's the Boba Fett fan club. If you want to check it out online, he's a great guy. But probably 10 minutes after Zach told me that, I guess I was being fired from my own podcast, or they were leaving the podcast, whatever way you want to look at it, I felt this kind of relief. Like, I can do the podcast I want to do now. Now, don't get me wrong. I love what we were doing there. The last podcast I did with them was probably the best podcast I did with it. It was great. Just me personally, I like to come on and just rant by myself. If you listen to my Star Wars podcast, you know what I mean. So, I just wanted to address this. I didn't want to get into all the Twitter drama and all that. I just kind of wanted to put my side out there, say I'm not a sexist, I'm not whatever they are calling me. I want to see that there's no hard feelings there. Well, I am let down because here's another thing. If you listen to the podcast, Zach always started the podcast and called me the former welfare queen. Now that was a joke aimed at that website that was kept attacking me because they kept tweeting out that I was on welfare. Sure, I was laid off work, never on welfare, but that's where that joke came from. So that's what kind of gets me, is that these guys were just as much felt about this other side attacking me as how I felt about them. We were all on the same page. We made a lot of jokes about that. We cut it out, of course, for the podcast. But then all of a sudden, once push came to shove and this website kept going after me, they bolted. Now again, they're like me. They just want to come on and start Star Wars. They just want to come on, talk Star Wars. They don't want to hear all this drama. They don't want to deal with it. So I understand that point of wanting to just get away from it. In fact, Zach's throwing his own money in there, which I don't think is very unfair. And I'm sorry, Zach. We should have done a pool and pooled all that money together. I think I mentioned it a couple of times, but I never got any feedback from anybody. I know I didn't pool my resources because, like I said, I was laid off, working out. We all should have pulled together on that money, and I apologize for that. I should have at least jumped up and offered to pay 1 or 2 months ahead of you. So that I apologize for. I was more let down than anything because I personally saw these 3 guys as friends, but looking back on it now, I guess they saw me as a partner. They saw me as co-worker. Would that be another way to put it? So I understand, but maybe we had maybe we're both looking at this the wrong way. So again, there's no hard feelings for them, and to that website that keeps attacking me, to all this going on, I want to apologize that yes, you guys drew first blood. In my opinion, y'all probably say it's the other way around.
They drew first blood, not me.
But I want to apologize from deep in my heart. I don't know if anybody there listening to it. We both did wrong, and from this moment forward, I don't want to say anything else about it. I just want to move on. I want to stay on my side of the internet. You stay on your side. If you don't tweet about me, then I won't have a reason to come back, and I'll try to keep all this drama away. So that's what I just wanted. I really didn't want to talk about this. In fact, you probably didn't want to hear it, but I didn't want people to wonder why I'm sitting here doing the podcast by myself now. Whew.
Conversation anyway.
Okay, with all that said, got the newspaper right here. Let's see what's in the news.
But this is beyond news. This is like Pearl Harbor or the Kennedy Assassination. It's like not even news, it's total shock.
Apparently there's gonna be an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie. That's right. Old Ben's gonna get his own movie. How do you feel about that? Well, how do I feel about it? I'm kind of excited, especially to see Ewan McGregor. Now, I'll admit, I'm not a prequel basher. I didn't really like The Phantom Menace. The Clone Wars, Attack of the Clones, I thought it was okay. There's some bad parts in it. I don't have a problem with Anakin's talking about sand. I don't have a problem with Anakin, killing. I think his scene where he's in tears telling Padme about killing the Tusken Raiders, I think that's touching. That moves me. That's hard for me to. First time I saw that, I almost brought a tear to my And then we got Revenge of the Sith. I thought it was a little too heavy on action. I felt George was trying to just wrap everything up as fast as he could in one film. So everything felt really rushed and tight at the end. I think he overlooked some things or rushed some things, like explaining the Force Ghost. I think it would have been a lot easier, but he just had Qui-Gon Jinn disappear in the first one. Revenge of the Sith just felt like he made the film, and then somebody said, "Hey, what about the Force Ghost? What happened to Qui-Gon Jinn? Why didn't he disappear?" Oh, and then he remembered and had to put in a little scene there at the end. So I'm not a prequel basher. I like it. I love the story they were trying to tell, although I don't love every way they went to tell it. Anyway, with that said, how do I feel about an Obi-Wan Kenobi film? I love the idea. Like I said, I love Ewan McGregor. He was one of the best things about The Phantom Menace. When are we going to have it take place? A couple years after Revenge of the Sith? Somewhere in the middle between Sith and A New Hope? Or somewhere closer to his age and A New Hope? I personally would like to see maybe a year after Revenge of the Sith, where he's dealing with losing his best friend Anakin, losing all his family, losing everyone he knows, from Yoda to, everybody. He's out there by himself now. I mean, what would that do to a man if he lost what essentially was a brother to him? He lost all his friends. Everyone he knows is gone, and he's out on some desert with 2 suns. It's got to be in the 150 degrees out there or more. So what's he gonna do? How does he deal with that? I would like to see that, but I'm not sure they're going to go that route. To me, stay away from Darth Vader. Stay away from the rebels. Stay away from all that. Do we want him fighting local trouble? I don't know, maybe the A-Team meets Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, people I know have made the argument that it could work with Darth Vader in it. In New Hope, he says, "When I left you, I was but a learner, but now I am the master." That maybe they can work that into where he's talking about not Revenge of the Sith, but he's talking about this time a little bit after Revenge of the Sith. I think you're starting to play around with words. You're starting to screw things around. I think it's best if you leave Vader out of it, because it sets up A New Hope and Revenge of the Sith. If you watch them in that order, you don't really have to watch each little spin-off film. I think this ought to stand on its own. But what's the story going to be? Like I said, the first thing pops in mind is maybe dealing with local trouble. But that just doesn't fit with Star Wars. I can't see that happening. But I'm kind of like, give us a movie without the Empire. You can have them in there, but don't make them be the main focus of the film. You could, maybe he's on a mission. Maybe he's hired out by Jabba the Hutt. I don't know. But again, they said Ewan McGregor hasn't signed on yet. It's the rumor, but come on, we all know they would not be doing this movie if there was no Ewan McGregor. I'm sure they talked to him before they talked to everybody, because they don't want to sit a director and start working on this film. Then Ewan says, "I'm not going to do it," because they're not about to recast now. I joked around on Twitter, said, what if they do recast? What if they make this a young Obi-Wan Kenobi story? And I was kind of joking, to get a rise out of people, and there's a lot of people that liked it. They said, "Yeah, give me a teenager Yoda. Give me a teenager Obi-Wan Kenobi movie. That'd be fine with me." But I'm excited for it. I don't want many spin-off character films. Give me Han Solo. I'm not one of these people that bash Han Solo every time he turns around. We don't need a Han Solo. We didn't ask for Han Solo. Nobody wanted it. I'm not that guy. I'm curious what they're going to do with Han Solo. Now, my suggestion, if I ran Disney, which I don't, is I wouldn't have done a Han Solo movie, but I would have done a Han Solo movie. Let me explain. I would have done a movie probably that's an ensemble cast, which maybe something like an Ocean 11 type film. And Han Solo's in it. He's probably the main guy, but it's not really a Han Solo movie. It's not an origin story. That's what I don't want. That's what I don't like, is the origin story. Fine, give me a Han Solo. I don't have to see how he gets the Falcon. We know how he gets the Falcon. He got it from Lando. I don't need to know how he met Chewbacca. I don't need to know how he got the dice to hang up in his rearview mirror in the Falcon. I don't need all these backstories. I just give me a Han Solo movie. Give me Han Solo maybe doing a smuggling run, or maybe it's like a Cannonball Run film where Han Solo and Chewbacca's got to get to this one part of the galaxy to deliver something before Lando and his friend get there, or something crazy. I don't know, but something crazy like that. But I'm happy with Han Solo. But Obi-Wan Kenobi, I'll be glad to. But I don't want to see, I know there's news came out that said a Jabba the Hutt film, which I think they mean more of a gangster film where it's about the bounty hunters, maybe, and Jabba plays a key in it. I hope it's not a whole movie about Jabba as the main star, or maybe a love story of Jabba the Hutt. But and then what was it? Yoda movie came out, a Boba Fett movie. Let's stay away from all that. Now, Boba Fett movie, I love Boba Fett, as y'all know. I love him. Again, I would go see a Boba Fett movie in a heartbeat, but I would like it more of a bounty hunter movie. In fact, if they're gonna play in the timeline, you know, there's a scene where Han Solo talks about running into some bounty hunters in Empire. Maybe make a movie of when they ran into that. Now, I'm not really into picking out scenes from the movie and then making a movie like Han Solo says something about the castle run. I don't need to see that in the movie. But I thought it was kind of interesting that if Han Solo says, "What about that bounty hunter we ran into?" then we can in our mind go back to that film. But I prefer, you know, maybe a movie that takes place before A New Hope and Empire. That's a good timeline they hadn't explored yet that I would like to see. I'm kind of sick of the Revenge of the Sith, A New Hope timeline stuff in between that. I'm kind of tired of that time. We got the Rebels cartoon, we got Rogue One. So I think we've done with that timeline. I guess Han Solo's going to fit in the timeline also. And Obi-Wan's probably going to fit in that same timeline too. See, every movie they're doing is in that time. So give us something else. Maybe between Star Wars and Empire. Now, I would love to see a story between Jedi and The Force Awakens. That's a huge opportunity there. A lot of time to play with. But I don't think we're going to see that, at least not anytime soon. It would be really great to see how Luke, Leia, and Han and everybody reacted to the fall of the Empire and the death of Darth Vader and the Emperor. But you can't really do that while recasting the guys, and we don't want that. We don't want to be able to watch Star Wars, Empire. I'll put it this way, I don't want to see Han Solo, Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, and A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and then some movies where it's a whole new cast, and then they come back in The Force Awakens. That would be stupid. Okay, now I have no problem with recasting Han Solo that takes place before A New Hope, but you can't recast him after A New Hope. You can't do that. But again, but like I said, if Disney's listening, give me something between A New Hope and Empire. I guess between Empire and Jedi would be good too, but I'd really like that time frame. Maybe if you're gonna do Vader, I think we have enough Vader. I'm about done with Vader. The scene in Rogue One gave me the Vader I needed. I feel like, okay, we've got Vader, let's move on. How about this? I wouldn't mind seeing this as a story, maybe a story from the Empire's point of view, dealing with the end of the Death Star, the end of A New Hope. You know, this is the first time the Empire has lost a battle. This is the first time sorry about that email. This is the first time they've probably seen the Empire as a threat. Oh, excuse me. This is the first time they probably saw the Rebel Alliance as a real threat when they lost the Death Star. Before that, they probably thought they were just a nuisance and in the way and causing a little trouble here and there. So it'd be interesting to see. One thing, see how Palpatine handled Darth Vader after that. What did he do? Did he just let it go? Hey, you were on the Death Star. You were in charge of that place. You and Tarkin, and y'all just let these rebels come in. So that would be a very interesting film, I think, if you just shot it from the Empire's point of view of dealing with the loss of the Death Star, dealing with Vader. What happened to Vader when he went flying off? Now, we know TIE fighters are short-range fighters. Where did he go? Now, I hadn't kept up with all the canon and all that, but I'm guessing his fighter is just like a TIE fighter. So it's a short-range fighter. So he had to go to Yavin or somewhere near the Rebel base. So it would be interesting to see how he got picked up by the Empire. So there's a lot of opportunities to go there if you want to stay in the Empire Vader scene. But getting back to Obi-Wan, because that's the topic we were supposed to be on. I'm happy with the Obi-Wan movie. I love Ewan McGregor, and I can't wait to see what he's going to do. But the director, and I'm sorry I don't have the name right in front of me now, but I haven't really seen anything he's done, so I can't really comment on him as a director. But from looking at his types of movie, it seems more dramatic. That gives me hope that they're going to go in that way of a tragic film of Obi-Wan dealing with the loss of his family. You know, dealing with the loss of everyone he knows is gone. And that right there, if you just tell me, hey, see, Ewan McGregor play Obi-Wan Kenobi and dealing with losing his life, essentially. You know, he lost everything. Yeah, I'm on board for that. I'm not a big action movie fan. Just give me a dramatic story. I don't need lightsabers in every Star Wars movie. That's one thing I was happy to see in Rogue One, that we got away from the lightsabers. They did kind of keep a Jedi element there, which I kind of didn't like. I mean, I was okay with it. I wasn't against it. But there seems to be a period between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope where slowly over those times the Jedi was forgotten about. That maybe people didn't believe in that power. That became more of a myth, a legend, or a crackpot theory. So, by A New Hope time, I think it was Tarkin that says ancient religion. Now, of course, ancient doesn't mean 20 years ago, and he's probably just using it as a euphemism to mean, people forgot about the ancient stuff. Like if I show one of my kids my vintage Star Wars collection, they'll say, who likes that ancient Star Wars stuff? So that's what he means by ancient there. They doesn't mean thousands of years old. Where was I? Forgot. Oh. But yeah, it'd be nice if they could stay away. I mean, I guess you can't do an Obi-Wan movie and stay away from the Force and lightsabers and stuff, because he's got to have his lightsaber and carry it with him. But again, that's my thought on the Obi-Wan movie. Please hit us back on if you're watching this on YouTube. Let us know in the comments, or if you're out there on my Twitter account or whatever. I'm just curious what you guys all think about the Obi-Wan movie. I'm happy for it, but I don't think I can really get excited for it, because I'm already excited for The Last Jedi. I'm already excited for Han Solo, and then Episode 9. I got too much on my plate right now. Let me see The Last Jedi. Let me get Han Solo under my belt. Let me breathe some room. I'm getting a little worried that we're getting too many Star Wars movies. This is a guy that grew up on Star Wars movies every 3 years, and then a 16-year gap, and then 3 years, and then a 10-year gap. I like that area where I can breathe, where, okay, I got Star Wars, and then I can long for it. So what I would like to see is give me Episode 9, take a 5-year break. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to get one after the other. My biggest fear is we're going to get 2 a year. Please, Disney, do not give me 2 a year. We don't want to ruin this Star Wars thing. We've had it good for over 40 years. Let's not ruin it.
We'll have no more of this Obi-Wan Kenobi gibberish.
Let's talk about a subject you're all sick of hearing about. No, it's not a Snoke theory. Is Rey a Skywalker? Is she Luke Skywalker's daughter? Is she a Kenobi? Is she just somebody that's strong with the Force? First, let's start off with why she has to be a Skywalker. At least this is my theory. As Kathleen Kennedy said, and rightly so, and everybody knows, the episode is about the Skywalkers. How do you have the main character of a film not a Skywalker? Now, hold it before you say it. I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, Junkman, Kylo Ren's the Skywalker of this story. Remember, he's Han and Leia's son. He's a Skywalker. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about the bloodline. I'm talking about you need, in these films, someone with the last name Skywalker. So that leaves Rey, right? I know the bloodline. I know that Kylo Ren is technically Skywalker, or has Skywalker blood. But you need someone with that name, Skywalker. And he doesn't have it. He's Ben Solo. That makes no sense. You need a Skywalker for that movie. Each trilogy needs a Skywalker. Sure, if Kylo Ren was the main character of the new trilogy, I might could see him switching and start using the name Skywalker. But no, that's not. We all know Rey's the main character of these films. Okay, they're not going to do a switcheroo on us. So, if you're doing the story of the Skywalker family, and like Kathleen Kennedy says, it's a movie about family, you've got to have a Skywalker. Rey has to be a Skywalker. Now, is she Han and Leia's? No, because then she'll be a Solo. Just like Ben Solo. She'll be Rey Solo. But you need someone with that name. That's what I'm getting at. Not the blood. Kylo Ren has the blood. Fine. You make a good argument there. But you need that name. Let's say after Episode 9, Disney wants to keep going with the episodes. How they're going to do that? You know Kylo Ren's probably 90% going to die by the end of Episode 9. Can we agree on that? Who's going to carry on the Skywalker name? I very seriously doubt Rey's going to die in these series. We need someone with a Skywalker name to carry on the next trilogy if they do. But then again, we don't know. There might not be another trilogy. But you can't have the main character at Episode 1 through 3, a Skywalker. 4 through 6, a Skywalker. And then 7 through 8, the main characters, Ray Wilson. I mean, it just makes no sense. It has to be a Skywalker. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, that's not really a twist. That's not really anything new. We've seen all that. Well, I think the twist of the storyline is probably going to be how she became a Skywalker. Well, not really how she became a Skywalker, but how she ended up on Jakku and how she was hidden away and all of that. I think that's what they're going for. But I will give you this, that I think Disney's trying to make us think that she's Luke's daughter. So I'm not going to be totally surprised if I'm wrong, but that's my theory. And here's my theory of how she got on Jakku. Now again, I don't keep up with all the canon of the books, so I might be a little wrong with this, but this is just from watching The Force Awakens, what I picked up. And I've heard some people knock down my theory, which is fine, because like I said, I don't read the canon, the books, and they said the books kind of make this theory hard to come by. We're going to talk about Rey's. Okay, first off, Kylo Ren's about age 30. Rey is probably almost 20. So there's about a 10 years gap there. First, let's look at her vision. The vision seems to be in order. Her vision starts with Luke fighting Darth Vader on Cloud City. And then it shows Rey when she's little, or what we presume looks like Rey. I mean, we know it's Rey. And the vision ends where? Her fighting Kylo Ren in the snow, like in The Force Awakens. So just looking at her vision, it's going in order. So what's that tell you about this? This is my theory of how she got on Jakku. If you notice in her vision, there's maybe it's a Knight of Ren, I'm not really sure. Someone is about to stab Rey with a lightsaber, or about to attack her. And then we see a lightsaber bust through the man's chest. My theory is Kylo Ren saved Rey. He was Ben Solo then. He was still fighting with the light side. He was probably more good then. Or he was still struggling. As you can see in The Force Awakens, he was struggling with it. Either he got orders from the Knights of Ren, or maybe he got Snoke. Said your cousin, Rey, is strong with the Force like her father. She has to be taken out. You know, we can't have this girl growing up to be the next Skywalker. Having that blood in her. We have to take her out. Kylo, fighting with that good side in him, and fighting with that dark side, didn't know what to do. So maybe, there's an attack, and let's say all the knights are killed or whatever. But anyway, this one knight's about to kill Rey. She's probably about 5. He starts to slice her down, but steps at Kylo Ren, kills the guy that was about to kill Rey, right? But what's he going to do now? He's standing there in front of Rey. He's got his lightsaber in his hand. He just saved her life, but he knows he's got to kill her, right? That's what Snoke wants. That's what the dark side wants. That's what he needs to do. But he can't. He's got more light in him, and during this time, he's more good than bad. So he's struggling in The Force Awakens. He's really struggling back in this time. So what does he do? He takes her to Jakku. He takes her to this remote planet, drops her off, flies out of there, and we see her standing there crying, watching Kylo Ren leave. Her cousin, leave her right there. He heads back. So he lives with Plunk guy, Simon Pegg guy, whatever his name is, the junk dealer. Goes back to Snoke or his team and says, I done it. I done what you wanted to. I'm taking care of Rey. Now, he's probably going to say something like taking care of Rey. You don't want to lie to Snoke. That's not a lie. He did take care of her. But Snoke is under the impression that she's dead. Luke is under the impression she's dead also. So this sends Luke, maybe his wife's died too. Knights of Ren, maybe he sees all this disaster. He lost his whole family. He lost his wife. Rey's mother. He thinks he lost his daughter. So he gives up on the Jedi Order and takes off too. And then we flash back into The Force Awakens. If you notice when he finds out that Finn and BB-8 with a female on Jakku, he gets very upset. What female? I think that's what he says. So it seems almost like he knows. He knows Rey was on Jakku. And then he's got Finn meeting up with this girl. And if you read the novel to The Force Awakens, he's fighting with Rey and he senses the Force in her. And he says to her, you are her. No, it is you. That's what he says. It is you. And it's if you watch The Force Awakens, it seems like he knows Rey. or he's threatened by Rey even before he meets her. So here we got Rey hiding out on Jakku. His biggest fear is that Snoke's gonna find out that Rey's alive, that he didn't kill her. And at this, like I said, let me go back, like I didn't say it, but this time she was probably 4 or 5 when she was taking 5, maybe 6 when she was taken to Jakku. He was probably 15, still in that learning stage. But here he is in The Force Awakens, worried once he finds out there's a girl with Finn who's also from Jakku, where he left Rey. And then he knows she's strong in the Force. So throughout the movie, he's wondering, is this her? Maybe her name wasn't Rey then. Maybe her name was something else. And then when he's fighting with her in the snow, like the novel says, he says, "It is you." That's when he realizes, oh shit, my biggest mistake ever is back haunting me. The reason the Force is awakened is because of me. If I took care of her when she was little, this wouldn't be happening. So that's my theory. Again, some people told me due to the new canon and the books that the age doesn't equal up right. But until we see The Last Jedi, that's what I'm going to go for. Again, she's Luke's daughter. She was taken there. I mean, that explains why she's left on Jakku with such an asshole like the junk dealer guy. And no one's coming back for her. Because Luke thinks she's dead. Her family's all gone. Everybody but Luke. Luke's run off and hid. And everybody thinks she's dead. And Kylo Ren sure ain't coming back for her. He doesn't want anyone to know about her. But that's my theory. Now, I've also heard this out there a lot, that she's just going to be a nobody. But why would they do that? Why would they purposely set up a who is Rey, who is Rey, who is Rey, if it's just going to be Rey Smith? It's going to be nobody that matters. If you watch The Force Awakens, you'll notice a couple of things. There's 2 times where they could talk about Rey's past, but they don't talk about Rey's past. One is Han and Maz Kanata. She asks Han, "Tell me about this girl." Does Han tell her about it? Yeah, off screen. It cuts right there. So we never hear what he tells her about Maz Kanata. There's a reason for that. Come on now. There is. And then later, Princess Leia says she's heard all about the girl, or something to that effect. So apparently Han's told her also about Rey, but we didn't see that. So 2 times they purposely kept out her backstory, so we would wonder who she is. They're not going to set up this who is, and then just tell us, in the next movie, she's Joe Smith or Rey Smith, Mary Sue Smith or something. They could do it. They did it. Lucas did it with Cypher Dyas. I remember seeing Attack of the Clones. Like, who is Cypher Dyas? And then it was never really explained in the films anyway. But again, every time they try to mention Rey's past, it cuts off. They cut the scene. Maz tells Han. Han tells Leia. For some reason, they don't want us to hear it. So again, I think Rey has to be a Skywalker. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be disappointed in that. I think Rey has to be a Skywalker by name. I know Kylo Ren is Skywalker by blood, but they need that name in the film. They need a Skywalker. They need a leading Skywalker. Hey, they might be throwing me for a loop, but that's my theory on who Rey is and why she has to be a Skywalker. Again, I heard 100 times that this theory can't hold up because of the canon, but until they explain who she is, that's the theory I'm going for. So I'd love to hear what y'all think. If she's a Kenobi, is she a clone, is she a Snoke? I don't know what she is, but what do you think she is? It would be cool to see her as a Kenobi fighting a Skywalker or a Solo, but I just can't see her being a Kenobi at all. Whoever she is, you have to explain who she is in 5 minutes. You can't do a whole big long backstory. So you got to, if she's a Kenobi, you got to explain how she's a Kenobi. Who did Obi-Wan, get it on with? Why do we not hear this woman he was with ever? In any movie ever. And then not only that, the other parents, her parents, because she can't be Kenobi's daughter. She's too young. So it's too much to be a Kenobi. But again, she's a Skywalker. I'm gonna, feel a part of me does say they want me to think it's a Skywalker, so it's not. They're trying to fool me. But I'm 95% she's a Skywalker. 85% Kylo Ren either knows who she was in The Force Awakens or has put her there on Jakku. But that's my theory. I know everybody's talked about a theory. This is probably nothing new to everybody, but I just want to throw it out there and see what you guys thought of it.
I got mail! Yay! I got mail! Yay!
Now let's read a little bit of the viewer mail. Are you ready? And first one we got to us is from Canyon, Texas. I never heard Canyon, Texas, but it sounds pretty nice. This is from Emily Rose, and she writes in, when Yoda says there is another in Empire Strikes Back, we all assume it's Princess Leia. But could it possibly be someone else, and we're all wrong? Let me see. I kind of thought about this question for about 2 seconds, and I came up with the answer. No one else. We all know who he's talking about. When, in fact, it's answered in Jedi. When Luke says, Yoda spoke of another. Who were you talking about? And Obi-Wan says, Princess Leia. We know that. Okay? And here's the true story of the fact, okay? Lucas wanted to build some tension between Empire and Jedi, where you wasn't sure which way Luke was going to go, if he was going to turn or stay good. But he knew the audience and the fans would be like, well, we know he's not going to turn bad. There's no one else for the third movie. There's no one else. So he wanted to build that tension of, hey, maybe he will turn bad. Maybe there is someone else. Let's see who it could be. And all that. And then, when it came time to do Jedi, he decided to wrap it all up after Jedi and tie it all up nicely. And then he was left with, okay, I've got to answer this question. Who is the other? You know, so he just made it Princess Leia. He made Luke and Leia brother and sister. It wasn't some planned out thing that he knew from the beginning. Didn't even know an Empire. Apparently this all came about sometime between Empire and Jedi. Maybe a little bit in his head during Empire, maybe, but the whole thing really set up in between the two films. Now, I've seen this thrown out online. Could it mean Ezra from Rebels? Could it mean somebody maybe Rey or something like that? I guess you could write that into it if you want to be stupid. But if you just watch the movies, it's plain and simple who's who. It's plain and simple who Yoda's referring to right there. So, no, Emily, sorry. That's dumb. Okay, let's see what else we got. Okay, the next one's from Louisville, Connecticut, from Hayward Nelson. And he writes in, who is Snoke? Now, that's a good question. I'm sure we've all asked a million times, who is Snoke? Who is Snoke? Well, the truth is, I guess nobody really knows who Snoke is, at least not yet. Hopefully we'll find out more in December and maybe the final answers in episode 9. Here's my personal theory is, at first I thought Darth Plagueis thing was a great idea. It would be a great way to bridge the prequels and the new stuff together, which I thought would be a great idea, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Snoke is Snoke. That's like asking who's Dak? Who is Wedge? Who is Snoke? He's just Snoke. He's somebody that's kind of, been in the back. He's not a Sith Lord. I think he probably studied about the Jedi and the Sith and everything. But I don't think he's anything special. He's kind of like, Maz Kanata knows the Force, but she's not a Jedi. I think that's how Snoke is. Now, there's another theory, and I kind of might agree with this one, that Snoke is from the unknown regions, from a part of the galaxy no one even knows about. That's a little silly, but I think they can write it where it's not silly, and I'll be on board with it. So if he's part of that unknown region, I think it'd be really good. I mean, what if in this unknown region, Snoke is like the dork of the community, the Jar Jar Binks of the unknown region? He's not even powerful, but he thinks he is. But compared to the Star Wars region, he's really powerful. So he comes here and everybody treats him like he's a Sith god. So I don't know, but I think Snoke is just Snoke. He's not going to be anything special. I'm afraid people might get their hopes up a little too high on that. But great question. Okay, and the next one comes from Los Alamos in New Mexico. Beautiful, beautiful town. And Raj writes in, I recently just got to watch The Force Awakens, and I'm a little confused. Who is the droid with the red arm? Great question, Raj. I think we all know that. In fact, when I first saw him, I said, who is this droid? But believe it or not, that droid with the red arm is C-3PO, the droid that hangs out with R2-D2 and everybody in the original trilogy, the one that was in the prequels Anakin built and didn't have skin in The Phantom Menace, and then You know, he was in all the other movies. He's basically in every Star Wars movie. He's C-3PO. Now, I know you probably didn't recognize him with the red arm. It took me probably seeing the movie 3 times, although he says it right there on the screen. So, thank you, Rods. I'm glad I'm not the only one that was confused about that. And Frank from Lafayette writes in, I went to see the Rogue One back in December, and before the movie started, my girlfriend of 7 months asked if Rey was in this film. And then, after seeing the film, she was very confused. She thought Kylo Ren was dressed up like Darth Vader. I have tried ever since then to break it off with her, but I just can't find a way to do it. Any advice? Well, Frank, I got some advice for you. If this girl doesn't know the difference between Rogue One and the saga films, she doesn't need to be let down easy. You need to just delete her name out of your contacts, tell her that your mother died, do something, move away. Just get away from this woman. Just run. This is not the kind of person you want to spend your life with. Someone who doesn't know the difference between Rogue One and the saga films. I feel sorry for you, Frank, and I wish you the best, but that's about all the advice I got is just to run away. Okay, guys, before we wrap all this up, let's talk about next Friday. Force Friday 2. The second Force Friday. If you don't know what Force Friday is, it's going to be the day when all the new toys for The Last Jedi are released in the stores. If you're lucky now, some of your Walmarts, and I sell some at Kmart and other stores, these are getting out on the shelves a little early. Although I saw them at Walmart and I couldn't really buy them. I tried to scan them and they wouldn't scan. So they're not in the system, but employees, I guess night crew stock and stuff, don't pay attention to the box and they just throw it out. I went to Kmart today and Kmart had a lot of it out. They had the figures, some of the play guns, some Legos, and a bunch of other stuff. But anyway, September the 1st is when they're all going to hit the stores. That's the official launch day. Now, some stores are going to be open at midnight. That's September 1st. That's the last day of August. You want to be there, but the doors open at 12, the very first second of September 1st. I know last time for The Force Awakens, I would say, well, it starts on the 1st, whatever day it was then. And people were, well, when you say midnight, do you mean the day before or the day after? People got confused. So it's midnight, September 1st, 12:01 a.m. Officially September 1st. But I thought I would go over some of the stores that's doing something, because each store is doing something a little different. So I thought I'd give you just kind of a little guide so you can prepare yourself for Force Friday. Also, just to let you know, I'm going to try to do a podcast of Star Wars weekly. Might be a little bit more than that if news breaks, but next week I've got Force Friday, that Friday, and that whole weekend we got Dragon Con. If you don't know what Dragon Con is, it's a convention. It's kind of like Comic Con to the southeast. It's in Atlanta. This will be my 19th year attending there. First time as a media pass, so I'm curious to see how it goes from the media side. But I've got all that next week, so if I'm a little late getting a podcast up, that's why. And again, like I said, I haven't decided for sure if this is going to be a bi-weekly, because I've got the Kenner podcast too. I can't talk that much. I can't random about nonsense that much. So anyway, let's go back to Force Friday and let's go over some things. First, let's talk about the Disney store. So every Disney store on September the 1st will have Force Friday 2 at all stores. The only one that's doing a midnight 12 o'clock opening is the one in New York City at Times Square. There's one in Chicago and one in San Francisco. They will be open at midnight. All the other Disney stores, mostly at your malls, at your big cities, are going to be open at the normal time. If you're there at the Disney store on Force Friday, you will get a free Star Wars mini poster to the first 100 guests. But the catch is you have to buy something. They're just not going to give you for walking in the door. So the first 100 to purchase something at the Disney store will get a free Star Wars mini poster. I haven't seen what the poster is going to be yet. There's going to be R2-D2 craft activities for the kids. Star Wars story time they're going to do. They're going to do the art of drawing, teach your kids, or teach you, I guess it doesn't have to be a kid, how to draw R2-D2. And they said they're going to have an epic Star Wars theme that pays homage to both the dark side and the light side. Now, I don't know what that means exactly. I don't know if it's something that's going to be on that. You know, a lot of Disney stores have that big TV in the back where they're showing, you know, trailers for their films and stuff. So I don't know if they're going to have something on there, what exactly that means. But again, they're going to have some kind of Star Wars theme that's going to pay homage to the dark side and the light side. Okay, let's talk Walmart, because everybody's got a Walmart in the town, right? I mean, there's not many towns that doesn't have a Walmart. At selected Walmart stores only, selected, now let me say that, selected Walmart stores, not every Star Wars store, is going to have a parking lot event called Be Jedi Ready with games and activities. Now, from what I understand, I haven't seen a list of what stores are going to have it, so check with your local Walmart before running out and getting all upset that they don't have the Be Jedi Ready games and activity. There'll also be free giveaways, including Topps Trading Disc, a EA Star Wars Battlefront video game poster. They said while supplies last. I don't know. I guess each store is probably going to vary on how many they have. It doesn't say anything about you have to buy anything to get the Star Wars Battlefront poster. In the Orlando, Florida Walmart, they're going to have a 6-foot-tall Luke Skywalker from The Force Awakens made out of Legos on show. And I think this picture is leaked already. I know I tweeted it a couple weeks ago. I'm guessing this is the one that they're going to show. But that's going to be at the Orlando store. It's over 36,000 bricks to make it. And the picture looks impressive. So I'm sure the seeing the actual thing is going to look really great. And all Walmart stores are going to let customers play Find the Force. Now, I don't know, again, all this is just getting out today, so I don't know exactly what Find the Force is. So they're going to have something at all Walmarts about Find the Force. Maybe they're going to hide the Force at a store and you got to find it. I'm not really sure. Then we got Toys R Us. I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. There's so many things I can play with. Let's talk Toys R Us. Toys R Us will host a midnight opening event at stores all across the country. And at Toys R Us, you'll be able to get a free Funko Pop Star Wars t-shirt. They did that for Rogue One. Last time I think all they had was mediums. Who the fuck wears a medium shirt? Especially what adult Star Wars collector at midnight at a toy store is going to wear a medium shirt? Come on, Toys R Us. So I hope they have more sizes this time. But also you get a free collectible Star Wars The Last Jedi poster. Of course, while supplies last. Don't they always say that? I'm guessing, again, it's just the movie poster, but I'm not really sure. We haven't seen it yet. But that's going to be the first poster in a series of posters at Toys R Us. They're going to give away a poster each month, leading up until the release of The Last Jedi. And apparently, they're going to have you find the Force at their store also. And if you're in Canada, Toys R Us will host 5 special midnight openings across Canada, giving fans a chance to be among the first to take home the amazing Radio Flyer Luke Skywalker land speeder. Have you seen this for kids? It looks like Luke's land speeder. It's made by Radio Flyer. It's a little land speeder you can drive for kids. Why didn't they have this when I was little? Oh, it would have blown my mind. I would have been the coolest kid in the neighborhood. At least in my mind, I would have been the coolest kid. I would have been the dorkiest kid in the neighborhood for sure. But in my mind, I would have been the Fonz. Hey. And at these Canadian stores, the first 100 fans in line at each store will receive an exclusive giveaway, including the Last Jedi poster and a Funko Pops t-shirt also. Okay, let's talk Target. They're going to have the doors opening at midnight also. And they're going to have several exclusives. They don't really list what the exclusive is yet. And of course, they're going to say, get ready to play Find the Force. Again, maybe I should have read what this Find the Force is before I started talking about it. And they're going to have raffle prizes they're going to give away, including Last Jedi plush dolls that's only available at Target. And they're asking you, please don't forget to bring your Ray game. That has to be the stupidest thing I ever heard in my life. And believe it or not, Staples is going to do something. Can you believe it? Staples, the office company. Star Wars drones are going to be at Staples, in-store and online on September the 1st. And, do I have to say it? Selected stores will be doing Find the Force. What is Find the Force? Pottery Barn. Oh, we're getting carried away. We're Pottery Barn Kids. I think this is a separate store from Pottery Barn. On Force Friday, that's right. Pottery Barn's going to have Find the Force online. So much. But they're going to have beddings, backpacks, furniture, room decorations, all kinds of stuff with the Last Jedi on it. And I bet they're going to have some of those little pog bird things on some pillowcases and sleeping bags. And you know that. BB Teen. I don't know what that is. Peanut Butter Teen? I don't know. PB Teen. Again, I have no idea what that is. But the new Star Wars collection from BB Teen was made for the ultimate fans. I don't know what any of this means. And you can go online to bbteen.com and find the Force. everybody's looking for the Force. And of course, they're going to have bedding and furniture. I think they seem like they're just like Party Barn for kids. I guess that's what there is. Kohl's. Oh, God, I didn't know we had so many stores. When I started doing this topic, I didn't know we had so many stores to talk about. Kohl's. The Force of Family continues at all Kohl's stores. Force Friday. And they're going to have new Star Wars The Last Jedi gear. Exclusive, they say. So I'm not sure what's going to be there. It doesn't actually say. But it says you can go there and see exclusive gear at Kohl's. And it says while there, you can play Find the Force. Surprising, isn't it? JCPenney's. If you got any in your town that hadn't gone out of business yet, you might want to hit a JCPenney's because guess what? You're going to be able to find the Force there. And also, you're going to be able to shop for the latest toys and all that. You know, they're going to have the same old thing everybody else get. But there's a catch at JCPenney's if you go there. You'll get a $10 bonus reward when you spend $50 or more in Star Wars merchandise. And if you're anything like me, $50 in Star Wars merchandise is easy to spend. Hell, if you pick up one playset, it wasn't going to run you $100. Okay, and then there's Hot Topic. Everyone's favorite teen emo store, Hot Topic, is going to get on the act. And at Hot Topic, at the store, and online, you can play Find the Force. God, I hope somebody finds this Force very fast so we can stop playing it. But at the Hot Topic's local stores, all their Star Wars t-shirts will be $12. And all their Funko Pops will be 2 for $18. I think the Pops are normally, $10 a piece? So you can save them $2. GameStop. Yuck. Okay. I guess I'm not going to sell any ad space to GameStop. Visit your local GameStop on selected GameStop stores will be having Find the Force. Surprising. You're going to be able to find the Force at selected GameStop. Where can't you find the Force? How can something be so hard to find if it's everywhere? If every store's looking for it. They also have pre-orders. Of course GameStop's going to have a pre-order. You can't even go into a GameStop and ask them if you can use the shitter without having to sign up for a pre-order. Who fucking pre-orders anything? This isn't the Stone Age. It's not like every store gets one copy of a game. Nobody needs to pre-order. I'm sorry. Okay, what else is? I don't know. The game doesn't. Battlefront 2 doesn't come out to November, but of course, Fourth Friday they're gonna want you to pre-order it. Ugh, GameStop. Think Geek. Okay, they're gonna find the Force. FYE. Does anybody have an FYE in your mall? Does anybody? I don't know if this is true or not. FYE. If you ask me what it stands for, it means fuck you're expensive. Have you been in there? What is it, like $30 for a used DVD? You find a pop that you want that's $10 everywhere else. They owe $15 for their pops. Everything in FYE is marked up 20%, I bet. Anyway, let's see what they're doing for Fourth Friday. Now they're going to be hosting a sweepstakes to win pop figures. Let me go get in line now. I got to get that. And guess what else they're going to do? You're going to be able to find the Force. And Build-A-Bear Workshop is getting in on the act too on Fourth Friday. Again, most of this stuff starts on Fourth Friday, but it goes all weekend. This is Labor Day weekend, so it's going to be extra crowded out there, guys. Build-A-Bear Workshop is going to do Star Wars Furry Friends. You buy one, you get one 50% off. And if you've got kids and been to Build-A-Bear Workshop, then you know that one bear is going to cost you probably about whatever you paid for your last car. So instead of paying $30,000 for it, you're going to get the second one for $15,000 because you have to almost take out a loan to go into the Build-A-Bear and buy anything. And you may be shocked by this, but Build-A-Bear said if you come into their store, you can play Find the Force. Whew. And BachLunch.com wants you to come to their website and find the Force. Okay, I'm going to skip all these Find the Force. Books A Million wants you to find the Force. Everybody wants you to find the Force. Books A Million is going to kick off the event Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. That's September the 1st. They're going to have activities. They're going to have cosplayers there. They're going to be showing all the new Star Wars, but it's going to be 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so most of you is probably going to be done shopped all the Star Wars you can by the time Books A Million gives around to even do anything special. And then you got Best Buy in the United States. They're going to let you come in and find the Force, and they're going to have some exclusive products. It's probably way overpriced. And at 2 p.m. at the Best Buy in Canada, you're going to be able to come in and find the Force and look at all the exclusives and win some prizes and stuff. All 191 Best Buy's location in Canada including Best Buy mobile stores, will celebrate Force Friday weekend. So stop by and find the Force. Bed Bath & Beyond's going to be another one. They're going to have some collectibles, and they're going to want you to come in and find the Force. Oh, I didn't know there was going to be so much stuff, did you? And now the Apple stores are getting in on that. They're going to have kid hours coding the droids from Star Wars. Then they're going to have, this sounds pretty neat, how to build a Star Wars trailer. Explore how to create a Star Wars trailer with actual footage from the film. You'll create a trailer complete with titles, transitions, sound effects, and official Star Wars music from your local Apple store. That sounds pretty cool right there. Let's see. Amazon. And I guess you're going to go online and find the Force. Hey, it doesn't say anything about finding the Force there. They're just going to have exclusive deals. They're going to have all the new product, and they're going to have a discount starting September 1st and running throughout the whole month. And finally, Second and Charles. There are not many of these stores out there. Does anyone know Second and Charles? They're owned by Books A Million. It's kind of like a media play. Does anybody remember media play back in the day? It's kind of like that, but they also buy a lot of stuff from people. Like you can bring in your record collection, and they'll give you store credit or money for it. I found vintage Star Wars figure there. In fact, I found a Boba Fett on the Droids cards that's worth $2,000 to $3,000. I found it at Second and Charles for $100, so I knew I snatched that out real quick. But if you've got a Second and Charles in your area, check it out. I love this store. I just don't see many of them. Again, they're made by the Books A Million people. A lot of times they're inside. They'll take an old Books A Million that's gone out of business and convert it over. So if you have a Second and Charles, check it out. And of course, they're going to do Force Friday on September the 1st between 4 and 6, just like Books A Million. And they're going to have Star Wars cosplays game. It looks like they're going to have basically the same thing that Books A Million. They're not going to do anything different, because they're both owned by the same people. So I guess to save money and time, they're just going to have the same thing. Woo! I didn't know it was going to be that much Force Friday to talk about, did you? So what are you planning to get? You planning to get anything? I've seen some of the figures out. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not sure if I'm going to get anything. I mean, I got Dragon Con that weekend. I haven't seen anything that really excites me into getting. Well, I have to get it. So I don't think I'm going to really get anything. I'm going to look, maybe some of the Black Series when I see them in person. But it's a little soon. Maybe once I see The Last Jedi, I'll want to run out and get something. But if it's Rey or Finn or I guess even Luke, most of those look just like they do in The Force Awakens. So I'm not like beating down the door to get that. Rose and I guess some of the new characters I don't know yet because I hadn't seen the movie. And I learned my lesson because I ran out there on Force Friday 1 and bought Captain Phasma. And woo, what did that turn out to be? Can we talk Captain Phasma? I thought she was going to be awesome. And then what did she do? She didn't do anything. And I know people say, well, Boba Fett didn't do anything. Why you like Boba Fett? Boba Fett wasn't a pussy. Sorry, I hate to say it, Boba Fett wasn't a pussy. They said drop the shields. She's like, okay, drop the shields. Boba Fett wasn't a drop the shields. Maybe if you give him some money, he might have. But she was supposed to die for the First Order. She wouldn't just drop the shields for him. Okay, getting off topic. We're talking Force Friday. Force Friday. So let me know. Hit me up on Twitter or YouTube, wherever you see this. Let me know what your plans are for Force Friday. What you gonna get? Legos. I know that Mark character. He's gonna get him some Legos, I'm sure. But that's it. That's Force Friday in a nutshell, right there. Again, check out StarWars.com. They have a whole list of all these stores and what they're gonna do. But I just wanted to bring that up since might not talk again until after Force Friday, and we'll probably be doing something live for YouTube and the website and everything on Force Friday, and then be doing a lot of stuff from Dragon Con. So that's something to look forward to.
But I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
Thank you for listening, everybody. I guess that's about it. I've talked for over an hour, but when it comes to Star Wars, I could ramble all day about it. We could turn it into a 3-hour podcast. But I want to thank you for listening. If you're listening to this on YouTube, just to let you know, you can hear us on iTunes. And if you're listening to us on iTunes, please write a review. That helps us grow and helps me know that someone's out there, so I don't feel like I'm just talking to myself. I really enjoy doing these, but hey, I'm not going to pay the money and sit here and talk to myself if no one's out there listening and enjoying it. So please, leave us a review on iTunes. And if you're on YouTube, thumbs up. Leave us some comments. I love reading the comments. And as you all know, you can check out our website, StarWarsJunk.net. There you can link to the Kenner podcast. If you don't know, we have another podcast called Kenner Chronicles It's all about the old Star Wars Kenner toys, and we ramble from all kinds of things. We don't stick on just one topic. So we got the Kenner podcast, and we got the Star Wars Junk Unleashed podcast. We got it all. But you can find our Twitter information, our Facebook information, our Instagram. You can find everything you need to know at StarWarsJunk.net. And I want to thank you again for listening. It means a lot that I know someone's out there. And I'm going to go now. I'm going to ramble to my friends and family about Star Wars. But when you're ready to hear me rambling about Star Wars, then I'll be here.
What a piece of junk.